Okay, let's unpack this. Today, we're doing a deep dive into the Aweber Review June 2025.
That's right. A platform with a long history, facing some big changes.
Exactly. And you might be wondering, why is this particular deep dive so imperative for you right now?
Good question. The email marketing landscape is just evolving so fast.
It really is. And choosing the right platform, well, it's not just about ticking off a few features on some checklist anymore, is it?
Not at all. It's a strategic business decision. It can really impact your growth, your customer relationships, even your bottom line.
Absolutely. So our mission with this deep dive is basically to give you a genuine shortcut, help you get well-informed, cut through all the marketing noise.
Yeah, help you understand these complex shifts that a legacy provider like Aweber is going through right now. It's quite a pivot they're attempting.
We'll distill the most important nuggets of knowledge. We've looked at a comprehensive analysis, competitive intelligence reports on Aweber from June 2025, loads of user reviews, industry comparisons.
All that good stuff.
All of it. So you'll gain crucial insights, hopefully, to make truly informed decisions for your business. Whether you're, say, a new creator just starting out,
Or maybe an established small business looking to scale up.
or even an advanced marketer trying to optimize those complex funnels. And crucially, understanding Aweber's new value proposition, and importantly, its unique trade-offs.
Which are significant now.
Right. That can help you avoid potential, financial penalties, we'll get into that, and workflow disruptions down the line.
It's really about giving you the foresight to make smart strategic choices for your email marketing. Strategic overview. Aweber's market position in 2025. A legacy in flux.
Okay, so let's kick things off with the big picture. Aweber. It's a name that, resonates with almost anyone who's been in the online marketing space for a bit.
Oh yeah, a real OG in the email world. Founded way back in 1998.
1998. That's practically ancient in internet years. A true pioneer, served over 1 million customers, more than 2 decades of history.
Absolutely. But in 2025, it really feels like they're navigating maybe a significant identity crisis, grappling with who they were and who they want to become.
That's a good way to put it, an identity crisis.
I really are. Aweber is like a textbook example of a legacy provider trying hard to modernize. And they're doing it within this fiercely competitive, rapidly changing market.
So what's the crucial thing to grasp about their recent strategy?
Well, the key thing is that in late 2024 and early 2025, the company executed this really pivotal, I'd say high-risk strategic shift.
Not just minor tweaks, then.
Oh, no, not at all. This wasn't a minor update or, a cosmetic refresh. It was fundamental. A re-architecture of their platform, a recalibration of their pricing.
Yeah.
We're talking about 2 major pillars of change here.
Okay, break those down for us. Pillar 1.
First, a substantial price increase. For many long-term users, their bills just jumped. Anywhere from 50 to, get this, 150%.
Whoa, 150%. That's huge. When did that hit?
That started rolling out in December 2024. And then pillar 2, a complete, and this is important, mandatory overhaul of their core automation engine.
Mandatory. So users didn't get a choice.
Nope. Their established campaign system, which many users had built their entire businesses around for years, it was entirely replaced by this new thing called workflows.
And that transition finished when?
That culminated in June 2025, so very recently.
Right.
And at the same time, they were heavily promoting new AI-driven features, trying to, justify the increased value and, frankly, the significant disruption all this caused.
Right. So what's the practical upshot of all this for you, the user? It feels like the platform's caught, maybe, between its history as that simple, reliable, often budget-friendly tool.
Yeah, the Aweber everyone kind of knew.
And its future aspirations, trying to be something more complex, more premium, maybe more cutting edge. Are they trying to serve 2 masters here, and how's that actually playing out?
That's precisely the core tension. And it leads us straight to this widening chasm of Aweber's ideal user profile.
Okay, explain that. Historically, who is Aweber for?
Historically, Aweber was absolutely the go-to for small businesses, solopreneurs, content creators, people like that. It was loved for its straightforward interface, its reliability, its relatively low cost.
It's a great starting point.
Exactly. An ideal entry point for anyone just venturing into email marketing. It was built for simplicity, getting the job done without overwhelming you.
But this 2025 pivot, those much higher prices, that more complex visual automation interface, They seem to be aiming for a more sophisticated marketer now, right?
Explicitly so.
So how is that playing out with their loyal, established customer base? Are they risking, alienating the very people who've championed them for years?
They absolutely are. And the user feedback from 2025 really illustrates this vividly. For instance, there's a G2 review from a 7-year European power user posted just this June.
Okay, what do they say?
They called the workflow's transition terrifying.
Terrifying. That's a strong word for an email platform.
It is. And also make your life miserable when it came to managing their intricate 80 email training sequences.
80 emails. Wow. Okay, terrifying. What was the specific problem?
Well, the old campaign system, while linear, it offered this really compact list-based view. You could quickly see and manage dozens of steps without excessive scrolling.
Right, efficient for those long sequences.
Super efficient. But the new visual canvas, while maybe intuitive for simple branching, it proved incredibly unwieldy, cumbersome for those very long linear campaigns. You need constant zooming, endless scrolling, just to see a fraction of the sequence.
I can picture that, like trying to navigate a giant tangled map.
Exactly. It was a fundamental disruption to their established workflow. So Aweber now finds itself in this, well, precarious situation. It risks being seen as too complex and too expensive for its traditional loyal audience. Yet often it's not quite powerful enough to truly compete in that higher tier market it now seems to want to attract.
So it's stuck in the middle, almost.
Almost a functional no man's land. That's a good way to put it.
That's a really powerful metaphor for where they are right now. So, okay, despite all this turbulence, this identity crisis, what are Aweber's enduring strengths? What core value propositions still stand firm, even now?
We can definitely point to 3 sort of foundational pillars where Aweber continues to shine, though admittedly, some now come with caveats.
Okay, lay them out for us. Pillar 1.
First, there's ease of use. And look, for its core functions, it still largely delivers on this. Aweber is widely praised for having an intuitive interface, minimal learning curve for the essential tasks, like, crafting a basic newsletter or managing a simple subscriber list, the drag-and-drop editor for emails. It's functional, straightforward.
Okay, but you mentioned a caveat, and I think this is where it gets really interesting. What's the catch with that ease of use? How does it impact the actual user experience day to day?
Right. The caveat is, while the main email editor is pretty good, some other parts of the UI, the user interface, are now starting to feel or be described as dated compared to more modern competitors.
Okay, dated UI in parts. What else?
More critically, there's this confusing and frankly inconsistent situation where they have 2 separate, functionally distinct sign-up form builders.
2? Why 2?
Exactly. You have one for landing pages that you build inside Aweber, and then another entirely separate one for embedding forms on your external website.
That sounds unnecessarily complicated.
It is. It creates this disjointed experience. You might learn one system, then find the other works differently, maybe has fewer customization options. It's a real head-scratcher, and it definitely impacts that overall perception of seamlessness.
Yeah, that does sound like a frustration.
Yeah.
Okay, pillar number 2, deliverability. Now, in email marketing, this is the absolute foundation, right? If your emails don't hit the inbox, nothing else matters. It's non-negotiable. This has to be a strength for a legacy player like Aweber.
Absolutely. And it truly is their bedrock. Aweber remains a top performer in this critical area, consistently scoring impressively in third-party deliverability reports. For 2025, many reports put them at an impressive 90 out of 100.
90 out of 100 is strong. Why are they so good here? What's the secret sauce?
Well, 2 main reasons, really. First, they maintain a very strict zero-tolerance anti-spam policy. Like, seriously, zero tolerance. Any user caught sending unsolicited email faces immediate account termination. No refund.
Wow. Harsh but effective, I guess.
Exactly. It seems harsh, but it's actually a proactive way they protect the sender reputation of their shared IP pools. By cutting off bad actors instantly, they keep deliverability high for everyone else.
Okay, makes sense. And the second reason?
Second, they provide crystal clear guidance and robust tools for setting up modern email authentication standards. Things like DKIM and DNRC.
Right, those technical bits crucial for Gmail and Yahoo now.
Crucial. These help verify you are who you say you are, and they're essential for complying with the increasingly stringent sender requirements from the big inbox providers. So yeah, deliverability, it's an unwavering, mission-critical strength for Aweber.
Got it. And finally, the third pillar, customer support. Now, this, to me, feels like it could be their most significant competitive advantage, especially for that small business owner, the solopreneur, who maybe doesn't have a dedicated tech team on call.
It genuinely is their ace in the hole. I mean, Aweber offers 204/7 live support across multiple channels, phone, email, and chat.
24/7, including phone. That's impressive.
It really is. And here's the crucial part. It's comprehensive support. It's available even on their lower-tier paid plans. And they even offer partial support on the free plan.
That's huge. How does that compare to others?
It stands in stark contrast to many competitors. Think about, say, MailChimp. They severely restrict support for free and entry-level users, often limiting them to just email for the first 30 days or something like that.
Right.
So the ability to pick up the phone, speak to an expert immediately, any time of day or night, that is incredibly rare and highly, highly valued in this industry, especially for small business owners often wearing, a dozen different hats.
Like a safety net. Exactly. A critical safety net that many users deeply appreciate and really rely on. 2, deep dive. Content creation and design engine.
Okay, we've laid out the strategic landscape, Aweber's big pivot. But let's get practical. What does this mean for the day-to-day work? When you actually sit down to build an email, how intuitive, how modern is Aweber's drag-and-drop editor in 2025, especially with their push towards a more contemporary feel?
Right, the drag-and-drop editor. It's definitely the core of their content creation experience. And look, it's quite functional. It's a YSI what you see is what you get, block-based system. They call the blocks elements.
So standard drag-and-drop stuff?
Pretty much. You drag pre-formatted content blocks, text boxes, images, buttons onto your email canvas. What you see in the editor is basically how it'll look for your subscribers. They have developed some specialized elements that are quite useful, actually.
What?
Well, there's a product block that has this deep integration with Etsy. It lets you automatically pull in product images, names, descriptions, even direct purchase links. Super handy for Etsy sellers. Oh, nice. That's specific.
Yeah. And there's also a dedicated coupon block for easily highlighting promo codes. Plus the standard stuff, embedding video, social media sharing buttons, even RSS feeds to pull in your latest blog post automatically.
Okay. And have they made any recent enhancements to improve the workflow within that editor? Any little touches that make a difference?
They have made a few. You can now use a / command menu inside a text block. It's similar to what you see in modern document editors. Gives you quick access to different content elements without clicking around.
Like in Notion or Slack.
Yeah, exactly. And another welcome modern touch is link previews. You just paste a URL into the editor, and it can automatically expand it into one of those rich content cards, showing the linked page's title, description, maybe a featured image.
Saves time, makes it look slicker.
Yeah, saves time, looks more professional. Almost like a mini snippet of a web page right there in the email.
Okay, now, Aweber boasts this truly massive template library. We're talking 600 to 700 designs. That sounds incredibly impressive, right? Way more than most competitors.
The number is huge, yeah.
But from your perspective, is sheer quantity always a good thing? Or is there maybe a quantity over quality dilemma happening here?
That's a really astute question, because while the sheer quantity is undeniably massive, I mean, significantly more than MailChimp's, maybe 125, or GetResponse's 240-something the quality, it's quite inconsistent.
Okay, so lots of templates, but maybe not all winners.
Exactly. Many expert reviews, user reviews from 2025, describe a good portion of the templates as, well, dated or basic.
Dated or basic.
It suggests the library hasn't been uniformly updated to reflect modern design trends. So many templates might feel a bit generic, maybe reminiscent of an earlier internet era,
Right, like early 2010s web design vibes.
Kind of. So it's a classic case of quantity over quality. And another key detail, the full library is a premium feature. Free and light plan users only get access to a more basic selection.
Okay, so the headline number is a bit misleading then.
It can be. While the number sounds impressive, the practical utility for many users, especially if you're aiming for sleek, contemporary branding, might be limited.
Gotcha. Now, AI. It's seemingly everywhere these days, and Aweber has definitely jumped on the bandwagon. How have their AI-powered design and content tools evolved? Do they genuinely add value, or is it more marketing fluff?
They've made significant strides here, definitely. It brings Aweber up to parity with many competitors who are also rolling out AI features. Their Smart Designer tool. That's a true standout. Quite innovative, actually.
Smart Designer. What does it do?
You just paste your website URL. Aweber's AI scans the page, finds your logo, your brand colors, your main fonts, and then It automatically generates a selection of custom on-brand email templates for you.
Whoa, okay. That sounds genuinely useful, especially for onboarding.
It's excellent for onboarding, yeah. Or just for efficiency. Businesses can create professional-looking branded emails in literally seconds without needing any design expertise. It's pretty slick.
What about AI for writing?
Yep, they have that too. An AI writing assistant embedded right into the message editor. Helped draft email copy, brainstorm ideas. And there's an AI subject line assistant too, suggests variations designed to boost your open rates.
So standard AI writing tools, but integrated.
Exactly. These features are becoming table stakes now, but Aweber's implementation is solid. It genuinely helps with content ideation and optimization.
Okay, so beyond the standard editor and the AI stuff, what advanced design capabilities does Aweber offer that might truly help it stand out from the crowd? Any unique selling points here?
Aweber has two particularly notable differentiators in the design department. First, their deep, direct, and really seamless Canva integration.
Canva, how does that work?
Right from within the Aweber email editor,
Yeah.
you can actually launch Canva, create your custom graphics, banners, images, whatever, and then save them directly back to your Aweber image gallery with just one click.
Oh, that's smooth. No downloading and re-uploading.
Exactly. It eliminates that whole multi-step process. It's a huge usability gain for anyone creating visuals regularly. Plus, they have a built-in image library with over 6,500 free stock photos, which is nice.
Okay, that Canva integration sounds great. What's the second differentiator?
The truly major one is their support for AMP for email.
AMP for email. Okay, unpack that. What does it let you do?
So AMP stands for Accelerated Mobile Pages. What it lets you do is embed truly interactive elements directly within the email body.
Interactive, like what?
Things like image carousels, live polls, surveys, even fully functional forms. Recipients can engage with these elements, answer questions, browse images, submit info, all without ever leaving their inbox.
Wow, okay, so it's like a mini website inside the email.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It's a powerful feature, not natively offered by many competitors like GetResponse, for example. It can dramatically boost engagement rates, provide a much richer user experience, moves email beyond just static content.
That sounds potentially game-changing for engagement. 3, the automation overhaul, deconstructing workflows. Okay, here's what we dive into maybe the biggest, most impactful, and certainly the most controversial change Aweber rolled out in 2025. This complete automation overhaul, transitioning from their old campaign system to the new workflows.
Yeah, this was monumental.
Tell us about this mandatory shift. Why did it cause such a stir?
It was huge, and that word mandatory is absolutely key. In June 2025, Aweber officially retired its, venerable campaigns feature that was mainly used for linear drip sequences. And they replaced it entirely with this new workflow system.
And mandatory meant users just got switched.
Pretty much. The shift was automatic for all users. Now, to their credit, Aweber did attempt to automatically convert existing campaigns into the new workflow format. So people didn't necessarily have to rebuild everything from scratch.
Okay, that's something. What was the stated goal behind this massive change?
Well, the stated goal, from Aweber's perspective, was to offer a more powerful, more flexible, more intuitive way to create personalized subscriber journeys. Using a visual, drag-and-drop canvas, which, let's be fair, has become the industry standard in modern email marketing platforms.
Right, everyone's got a visual builder now. So what were the advertised benefits, the specific new functionalities that Aweber really promoted with this big change? What was supposed to be the big draw?
Well, they heavily promoted that visual canvas for mapping out automations naturally. The flagship new capability, though, was something called split paths.
Split paths, conditional logic.
Exactly. It introduces a basic form of conditional logic, allows users to direct subscribers down one of two distinct paths based on whether they, say, opened a specific email or clicked a specific link within that particular workflow.
Okay, so logic based on actions within that sequence.
Right. This was touted as a significant upgrade, replacing what were often quite cumbersome old tag-based workarounds to achieve similar results.
How do these workflows get triggered?
Just a couple of ways, really. Either unsubscribe, when someone joins a list, or when a specific tag is applied to a subscriber.
And the actions you can take within the workflow.
Pretty standard stuff. Send message, wait for a period, apply a remove tag, and also check feed that's for triggering based on an RSS feed update.
Any other bells and whistles?
They also commendably built in A/B testing directly within the workflow builder. That's a nice touch for optimizing sequences as you build them.
Okay, so on paper, a visual drag-and-drop builder, split paths, A/B testing, It sounds like a substantial upgrade.
It does sound like it, yes.
But what happened when users actually experienced it? You mentioned that terrifying G2 review earlier. What was the real-world user impact? What were the significant friction points that emerged from this transition?
Yeah, this is precisely where the rubber met the road, and it generated, well, significant user friction, especially for those long-term power users.
Let's go back to that 80 email sequence user. What was the core of their frustration? Why terrifying?
The core issue was a profound difference in user experience, specifically for very long sequences. The old campaign system, remember, was linear, but it offered that compact, list-based view. You could scroll down a single page, get an overview of dozens of messages, easily insert new ones, see the flow clearly.
Efficient, like we said.
Right. The new visual canvas, while maybe fine for simple branching, becomes incredibly unwieldy, just cumbersome for those extremely long linear sequences. It requires constant zooming in and out, endless scrolling sideways, vertically, just to get a comprehensive overview, let alone make precise edits.
Like trying to edit a massive spreadsheet, you can only see one cell of at a time.
Kind of like that, yeah. Imagine trying to manage a huge flowchart that just doesn't fit on your screen, and you're constantly panning around. It really points to a critical oversight in the redesign. A failure to adequately consider the established processes and specific needs of their existing power users who had built these complex long-form automations.
So it broke workflows for some key users.
It really did. And we saw evidence in Aweber's own community forums, too. Lots of users in June 2025 struggling with even seemingly simple two-step workflows. It suggests maybe a steeper learning curve for the general user base than perhaps Aweber anticipated.
So what's the overall verdict on workflows then? Is it truly revolutionary, a game changer for Aweber? Or is it more like a significant facelift that doesn't quite change the fundamental capabilities underneath?
My assessment, looking at it objectively, is that workflows is primarily a significant user interface modernization. It successfully brings Aweber's automation builder to visual parity with competitors. It looks more contemporary, more intuitive on the surface, but it is not a fundamental upgrade in its core logical capabilities or depth. It's effectively a bridge towards modern automation, perhaps, but it's certainly not the final destination in terms of advanced power or sophistication.
That's a crucial distinction. A bridge, not the final destination. Can you elaborate on that? Why do you categorize it that way? What's still missing, or where does it fall short compared to, say, the market leaders in automation?
Well, look at the triggers. They're still quite limited, primarily just unsubscribe and tag applied.
Right.
And while they market behavioral automation, it's almost entirely constrained to opens and clicks within that specific workflow. There are no native triggers for more advanced, true behavioral actions.
Like what kind of actions?
Like website page visits, video plays, shopping cart abandonment, things like that. You can potentially rig something up using separate deep integrations, maybe through a third-party tool like Zapier, but it's not native.
So not built in, needs workarounds.
Exactly. And independent reviews from 2025 consistently label Aweber's automation as basic or limited when you compare it directly to competitors.
Who does it better?
Take GetResponse, for instance. They offer a much more mature visual builder, over 40 pre-built automation templates, and a far wider array of sophisticated triggers, including dynamic website behavior, purchase history, lead scoring.
Things Aweber doesn't have natively.
Right. Or look at ActiveCampaign, a true automation powerhouse. They offer far deeper functionality. Predictive sending, advanced lead scoring, really complex conditional logic across multiple touchpoints.
So Aweber's workflows are just simpler.
Fundamentally simpler. One review pointed out that for complex conditions in Aweber, you still often need to link multiple workflows together using tags, which, in their words, can get messy.
Okay, so the visual layer is new, but the underlying logic hasn't leapfrogged the competition.
Precisely. It looks modern, it's easier to visualize simple flows, but the underlying logical power hasn't fundamentally changed to the degree that maybe their marketing claims suggest, and it certainly doesn't compete with the true automation leaders. It's like giving you a new, prettier map, but it's still for the same basic car, not a high-performance vehicle. AV, audience growth and list management.
Okay. Beyond setting up those automations, a critical step for any business is actually bringing new subscribers into their ecosystem and then managing those lists effectively. So how does Aweber help you with lead capture? Things like landing pages, sign-up forms?
Right. Lead capture is key. Aweber offers pretty robust tools here. They have a native landing page builder. This lets users create and publish standalone web pages without needing external hosting.
Which is super convenient, especially for beginners.
Incredibly convenient, yeah. Or for folks without a main website yet. It comes with a respectable library somewhere between 46 and maybe over 160 professionally designed templates, catering to various goals: webinars, product launches, course sales.
Can you customize them? Use your own domain?
Yep. You can customize them with your brand elements, use custom URLs, or even connect your own custom domain for that professional touch. And crucially, they integrate with Google Analytics and Facebook Pixel for proper tracking.
And didn't you mention e-commerce earlier?
Yes. A significant advantage is you can directly embed Aweber's own e-commerce tools onto these landing pages. So you can sell products and collect payments right there, seamlessly, using Stripe and PayPal.
That sounds quite comprehensive for an integrated solution. Are there any notable limitations to that landing page builder that users should be aware of? Things it maybe doesn't do so well?
Yeah, there are a couple of things. The ability to A/B split test your landing pages, which is pretty critical for optimizing conversion rates, testing different headlines, calls to action, designs.
Essential for optimization.
Right. That capability is a premium feature. It's restricted only to their paid plans.
Ah, okay. Not on the free or light plan.
Correct.
Huh.
Also, while the templates are a decent starting point, some users have noted that the design flexibility can be somewhat limited compared to more specialized landing page tools, like lead pages or Unbounce. It's great for getting functional pages up quickly, but might challenge those who need highly unique or intricate layouts.
Fair enough. So good for standard pages, maybe not for super custom designs.
Yeah.
What about the more traditional sign-up form builder, the ones you embed on your own website? How does that fare?
Aweber offers tools for creating sign-up forms in various formats. Inline forms that sit within your content, pop-up forms, lightbox forms that overlay the screen. These can be easily integrated with platforms like WordPress and Facebook.
Okay, sounds standard, but I sense a but coming.
Well, here's that major criticism again, the one that's been frequently raised in 2025 reviews. It goes back to that inconsistent UI point we made earlier. Aweber has two separate, functionally different form builders.
Still, that issue persists.
Still persists. One is, like we said, tied to the landing page builder. The other is specifically for embedding forms on external websites. And the website form builder in particular is often described as outdated, very basic customization options compared to what modern form builders offer.
So it's confusing and one of them is underpowered.
Exactly. This split creates a confusing and inconsistent user experience. You have to learn two distinct systems for what is fundamentally the same task. It's definitely an area ripe for consolidation and improvement.
Yeah, sounds like it. Okay, so once you have those leads flowing in, how does Aweber handle the next step? List management, segmentation, the kind of personalization that really drives engagement.
Aweber's approach here is primarily tag-based. You apply tags to subscribers based on, say, their interests, their behavior, or where they signed up from.
So you can label people based on what they do or who they are?
Right. For instance, a tag can be automatically applied when a subscriber clicks a specific link in an email or makes a purchase or signs up through a particular form. These tags then become the foundation for segmentation.
Allowing you to send targeted messages.
Precisely. You could tag subscribers who clicked on a Product A link, then send them a follow-up email specifically about Product A instead of just blasting everyone with a generic broadcast. Makes things much more relevant.
Okay, that sounds good. What's the catch with segmentation then? Is it fully accessible to all users, or are there maybe hidden limitations that could hinder a growing business?
That's a really important question, because there is a critical restriction here. Advanced segmentation capabilities are quite heavily gated by Aweber's pricing tiers.
Ah, okay. How restrictive is it on the lower plans?
The entry-level Lite plan, for instance. It allows a user to create and save only one custom segment. Just one.
One segment. That seems barely usable for targeted marketing.
It really is. For any business trying to run more than one targeted initiative, say, segmenting by interests and by purchase history and by engagement level, this is a severe, often unworkable limitation.
So you need to pay more for real segmentation.
Pretty much. Unlimited save segments are only available on the more expensive Plus plan and higher.
Right.
So while personalization is supported with dynamic content, inserting subscriber names or custom fields into emails to increase relevance.
Right. Basic personalization.
The ability to truly leverage that for sophisticated segmentation is tied directly to your plan tier. It's a significant upsell point.
Got it. Now, beyond traditional email, Aweber also offers web push notifications, right? How does that fit into their overall strategy for audience growth and maybe re-engagement?
Yes, they do. It's actually a smart addition. offers an alternative, more direct communication channel. Web push notifications let businesses send short, clickable messages directly to a subscriber's web browser.
Even if they're not on your site at that moment.
Exactly, even if they're browsing somewhere else. It's a powerful tool for re-engaging visitors, announcing new content, driving traffic back to your site without relying solely on email.
Is that widely available across plans?
What's compelling here is that it is included in all Aweber plans. Even the Lite plan supports up to 50,000 push notification subscribers.
50,000, that's generous.
It is. This broad accessibility means even smaller businesses can leverage this channel without needing a separate costly tool. It offers a valuable way to diversify their communication strategy beyond just the inbox. V-monetization and e-commerce.
Okay, this is fascinating. Aweber seems to be making a somewhat aggressive push into direct monetization, moving beyond just being an email sending tool. How does Aweber actually facilitate native selling directly within its platform?
They've definitely invested significantly here. They have a native e-commerce toolkit, branded simply as Aweber e-commerce. This feature lets users, particularly creators, solopreneurs, small businesses, sell various types of products and services directly from landing pages built right inside Aweber.
So you don't necessarily need a separate Shopify or Gumroad.
Exactly. For simpler offerings, it can eliminate the need for a separate third-party e-commerce platform. You can sell digital products like ebooks or online courses, physical goods, even recurring subscriptions or payment plans.
How seamless is it?
The idea is you create a landing page, add your product, connect your payment processor, and start selling all within Aweber. It really aims to streamline that entire sales process significantly for users who don't need a super complex store.
Okay. And how does the payment processing actually work within Aweber's ecosystem? What are the practicalities, the costs involved for a business trying to sell through them?
They've wisely integrated directly with two of the biggest and most trusted payment gateways out there, Stripe and PayPal.
Good choices. Reliable.
Very reliable. This allows businesses to securely accept payments in over 100 different currencies, giving them pretty good global reach. Now, Aweber does charge a transaction fee on sales made through its platform.
Okay. How much are we talking?
As of 2025, that fee is 1.0% of the transaction value if you're on the Lite plan. It drops to a lower 0.6% if you're on the Plus or Unlimited plans.
How does that compare to other platforms?
They position it as competitive. And honestly, those rates are often notably lower than the platform fees charged by many dedicated e-commerce solutions. So that can be an attractive aspect for cost-conscious sellers looking to maximize revenue per sale. It's like a direct challenge to simpler platforms like Gumroad, maybe even basic Shopify plans for certain use cases.
Interesting. So how does Aweber connect these sales directly back to your marketing efforts? Can you track conversions effectively? And crucially, can you automate post-purchase sequences to nurture those new customers?
Absolutely. And this is where Aweber's native e-commerce really ties back into its core email marketing strength. They provide integrated tracking and automation capabilities.
So you can see what's working.
Right. You can view detailed reports on sales data generated directly from your Aweber landing pages. Helps you measure the direct revenue impact of your campaigns, identify your top-selling products. The system also includes email sales tracking, helping attribute revenue to specific email broadcasts or automations, so you know which marketing efforts are actually profitable.
And the automation link. Can purchases trigger emails?
Yes, and that's key. Purchase activity can be used as a direct trigger for automation. When a customer buys something, Aweber can automatically apply a specific purchase tag to their subscriber profile.
Using those tags again.
Exactly. That tag can then instantly initiate a post-sale workflow, like sending a thank you sequence, an onboarding series for a new product, maybe even an upsell campaign for related items down the line.
So it connects sales and marketing smoothly.
This seamless integration allows for a much more sophisticated and responsive customer lifecycle marketing strategy. Ensures new buyers are immediately engaged and nurtured automatically. 6. Analytics, deliverability, and compliance.
Okay, shifting gears slightly. Once your emails are out there, maybe your sales are flowing. What kind of insights can you actually get from your campaigns and subscriber activity using Aweber's reporting suite? Does it give you the data you need to optimize and grow?
Aweber's analytics capabilities are definitely designed with a tiered approach, meaning the depth of insight you get depends on which plan you're on.
Okay, so what do all users get? The basics.
Right. All plans, including the free tier, provide basic analytics. This covers the essential metrics: open rates, click-through rates, overall subscriber growth over time, gives every user that fundamental understanding of campaign performance.
And what about the paid plans? What deeper insights do they unlock?
Users on the paid Plus and Unlimited plans get access to a much more robust suite of advanced reporting tools. This includes deeper message insights, audience insights, account-level insights, allows you to segment your data much more granularly.
Any tracking beyond email itself?
Yes. You also get web page tracking to monitor subscriber activity on your actual website, and that dedicated email sales tracking we mentioned to precisely measure the ROI of your email campaigns. Some reviews also highlight the availability of click heat maps.
Click heat maps, visualizing clicks.
Exactly. They visually show you where subscribers are actually clicking within an email. That offers incredibly valuable insights for optimizing your email design and content layout for better engagement. See what people are drawn to.
That sounds useful. What about A/B testing? We touched on it in workflows, but how accessible is it generally for optimizing campaigns? Is it widely available or reserved for higher tiers?
Aweber does support A/B testing, and they have actually expanded its functionality. You can test up to 3 variations for critical elements like subject lines, sign-up forms, and now with the new automation builder, even different paths within a workflow.
Testing 3 variations is decent.
It is. Allows you to rigorously test and refine your campaigns to improve performance. However, comprehensive split testing capabilities, particularly for the more advanced scenarios, are largely a premium feature, restricted mainly to paid plan users.
So again, a reason to upgrade if you want serious optimization.
Pretty much. While it's there, you might need to upgrade to fully leverage its potential across the board.
Okay. Now back to that absolute non-negotiable, deliverability. We established it's a cornerstone strength. What is Aweber's long-standing track record here? What makes it stand out?
Deliverability truly is the bedrock of Aweber's reputation, arguably their strongest technical asset. Their ability to ensure messages reliably reach the inbox is why many businesses, especially those heavily reliant on email for revenue, choose and stick with Aweber.
And the scores back that up.
Consistently. They achieve incredibly high deliverability scores in third-party tests. That 2025 report rating them 90 out of 100 is pretty typical. This unwavering strength comes from those key strategies we discussed earlier.
Remind us, the strict anti-spam policy.
Exactly. That strict, zero-tolerance anti-spam policy. Immediate termination for offenders. It protects the sender reputation for everyone on their shared IP addresses.
And the technical tools.
And secondly, providing the tools and clear documentation for setting up modern email authentication DKIM and DAMARC. Vital for verifying legitimacy and meeting Gmail and Yahoo's requirements. So yeah, deliverability remains an unwavering mission-critical strength.
That sounds incredibly robust. Is there any limitation to their deliverability setup? Anything that high-volume senders or maybe very specific businesses might want to be aware of?
Yes, there is one notable limitation, particularly for very large or specialized senders. Aweber does not offer the option for dedicated IP addresses.
Okay. Everyone shares IPs.
Everyone sends from a pool of shared IP addresses. Now, these are meticulously managed by Aweber to maintain a high reputation, and they do an excellent job for the vast majority of users.
But for some, a dedicated IP is preferable.
Some extremely high-volume senders or businesses with very specific reputation management needs might prefer the added control and isolation that a dedicated IP address provides. Many competitors do offer this as an upgrade option. Aweber doesn't.
Good to know. And finally, on the compliance front, particularly with increasingly stringent regulations like GDPR in Europe, how does Aweber handle that? Do they help users stay on the right side of the law?
Yes, absolutely. Aweber is fully compliant with the General Data Protection Regulation, GDPR. That's essential for any business with subscribers in the EU or dealing with EU citizens.
But do they help users be compliant?
More importantly, yes, they provide robust features to help their users maintain their own compliance. For example, their sign-up form builder includes conditional logic. You could use it to ensure a user's data is only sent to Aweber after they've explicitly provided consent.
Like ticking a consent box.
Exactly. Like checking a box saying they agree to receive marketing communications. This proactive approach helps businesses avoid significant legal headaches and potential fines related to data privacy. They give you the tools to do it right. 7. The Aweber ecosystem. Integrations and extensibility.
Okay, so if you're running a business today, chances are you're not just using an email platform. You've got a whole suite of other tools, CRMs, e-commerce platforms, scheduling apps, you name it. How well does Aweber actually play with others? Does it integrate seamlessly into existing workflows, or does it kind of try to be a silo?
This is really one of Aweber's most significant and enduring strengths. It's an extensive ecosystem of integrations. They boast a truly vast library, over 750, maybe even up to 1,000 native and third-party integrations.
750 to 1,000, that's huge.
It is. It allows Aweber to really serve as a central hub for customer communication within a broader business tech stack. It's definitely designed to connect, not to operate in a silo.
That's a massive number. Can you give us some concrete examples, just to give our listeners a better sense of the types of integrations they offer and how they might actually be used in a real-world scenario?
Absolutely. For lead generation and forms, they integrate deeply with popular tools like Gravity Forms for WordPress, lets you automatically add form submitters to your Aweber lists, map custom fields, apply tags. Really smooth.
Okay, forms covered. What about e-commerce?
On the e-commerce and payments front, we touched on this. They connect with major solutions like Shopify, WooCommerce, PayPal, Stripe. Crucial not just for their native e-commerce, but also for triggering those sophisticated post-purchase automations based on data from external stores.
CRM integration.
Yep. Aweber can sync customer data with systems like HubSpot, Insightly, Keep. Gives you a more unified view of customer interactions across sales and marketing.
Social media,
Yeah.
scheduling, productivity.
For social media, a key one is Facebook lead ads. Automatically pulls new leads from your Facebook campaigns right into an Aweber list for immediate follow-up. They also integrate with scheduling tools like Calendly, easy to send follow-ups after meetings, and with Google's productivity suite, Docs, Drive, Sheets for data management.
So lots of direct connections. What about tools that don't have a direct integration? Is there a workaround?
Yes, and this is crucial for ultimate flexibility. Their integration with automation middleware. They have a robust integration with Zapier.
Oh, Zapier, the universal connector.
Exactly. Zapier acts as that bridge, letting you connect Aweber to literally thousands of other apps that might not have direct native integrations. So if there's an app you use, chances are you can hook it up to Aweber via Zapier to automate data flow.
Anything beyond Zapier for a more complex automation?
Interestingly, yes. Aweber also has an official connector for the enterprise-grade robotic process automation platform, UiPath.
UiPath, that's pretty serious.
It is. The UiPath documentation lists a wide range of specific Aweber activities you can automate. Adding subscribers, getting lists, creating broadcasts, updating subscribers, getting activity. This shows a level of extensibility catering to both small businesses via Zapier and larger enterprises via UiPath, a broad commitment to being interconnected.
And for those who need even more granular control, maybe build truly custom integrations. Is there an API available for developers?
Yes, there is. Aweber provides a public API application programming interface. This lets developers programmatically build custom applications and bespoke solutions that interact directly with their Aweber account data. Offers a path for creating highly specialized integrations tailored to unique business processes, or for larger orgs needing deep customizability. 8. Pricing and value analysis. The post-hike landscape.
Okay, so we've talked about the dramatic shift in Aweber's strategic direction, all the features, the integrations. But let's talk brass tacks. What does this all cost now? Especially after those big changes, those price hikes we highlighted right at the top. Is Aweber still a budget-friendly option, or has it moved squarely into the premium tier?
Yeah, the pricing structure and the whole value proposition. It underwent a dramatic and for many quite a jarring shift in late 2024 and early 2025. That price increase for long-term customers reports of 50 to a staggering 150% hikes.
Still blows my mind, 150%.
Right. It generated considerable negative sentiment, understandably. Many felt the features, even with the new additions like workflows and AI, just hadn't improved enough to justify such a substantial jump. Made it simply unaffordable for some loyal users.
So it was a gamble on their part.
Clearly a deliberate high-stakes gamble by Aweber to increase revenue per user, reposition itself upmarket. But it undeniably came at the cost of significant customer goodwill, and in many cases, loyalty.
Okay, let's break down the current plans then. Aweber now offers Lite, Plus, and Unlimited. How do these tiers stack up in terms of cost? And maybe more importantly, what crucial features are gated behind those higher price points? What do you not get on the cheaper plans?
Sure. Let's use a couple of examples to make it concrete. Say you have a list of 500 subscribers. The Lite plan is around $15 a month. The Plus plan jumps to $30. And the Unlimited plan is a flat rate, quite high, $899 a month.
Okay. What if your list grows, say, 10,000 subscribers?
Right. At 10,000 subscribers, the Lite plan is now $100 a month. The Plus plan goes up to $135, and unlimited stays at that $899 flat rate.
Got it. But the real story you're saying is the feature gating. What's missing from Lite?
Exactly. The Lite plan is highly restrictive. It limits you to only one list profile.
Just one list.
One list. It allows for just 3 active automations, even with the new Workflows builder. And crucially, you can only create and save one custom segment.
One segment again.
Just one. So for any business with even moderately sophisticated marketing needs, if you want to target different customer groups, run more than a single basic welcome sequence. This plan becomes unsuitable very, very quickly.
So Plus is really the starting point for serious users.
This structure effectively makes the more expensive Plus plan the true entry point for serious marketers who want to leverage Aweber's features effectively, which significantly increases the practical cost of using the platform.
Any other limitations on Lite? Sending caps?
Yes, it's worth noting monthly email sends are capped. For example, it's 10 times your subscriber count on Lite plans. This is different from many competitors who offer unlimited sends on their paid tiers. And as we discussed, those e-commerce transaction fees are higher on Lite, 1.0%, compared to Plus Unlimited, 0.6%.
Okay, now this raises a really important question, one that many users don't discover until it's too late, and it can really catch them off guard. What's a hidden yet potentially significant structural cost that can really add up with Aweber?
This is a critical and often overlooked structural flaw in Aweber's pricing model. They explicitly charge for all contacts stored, even permanently unsubscribed ones.
Wait, say that again? You pay for people who've unsubscribed?
Yes. Your monthly bill is calculated based on the total number of contacts in your account, regardless of whether they are active and mailable or if they've opted out and you are legally prohibited from emailing them anyway.
Wow. That sounds like it could really inflate costs, especially over time, and it almost punishes you for having a long-standing list with natural churn. How does that practically impact a business's budget and maybe their workflow?
It absolutely inflates costs dramatically. I mean, imagine a business with, say, 25,000 active mailable subscribers, but they've accumulated 5,000 unsubscribed contacts over several years.
Pretty standard for a mature list.
Right. Under Aweber's policy, they will be billed for a total of 30,000 subscribers, pushing them into a higher, significantly more expensive pricing tier. For thousands of contacts, they can't even email.
So it's like an unsubscribe tax?
That's exactly what it feels like. And this unsubscribe tax doesn't just inflate costs, it creates this punitive maintenance burden. It forces marketers to regularly manually purge their lists of unsubscribed contacts simply to control costs.
Which is tedious admin work with no marketing value.
Exactly. A tedious task that provides zero actual marketing value. And this puts Aweber at a distinct competitive disadvantage. Many modern platforms, like ConvertKit, for example, only bill for active marketable contacts.
Right, which seems much fairer.
It does. So when you combine the explicit price hike of 2025 with this underlying structural flaw, it makes Aweber not only more expensive upfront for new users, but also progressively and artificially more costly over the life cycle of a growing email list. It turns what should be a healthy process of opt-ins and opt-outs into a potential financial liability. INEX, competitive landscape, Aweber versus the market.
Okay. Given everything we've discussed, Aweber's shifts in strategy, the new pricing, the feature set, that unsubscribe tax, how does it really stack up against the competition in 2025? Let's put it head-to-head with some of the key players out there in the email marketing space.
Right. In 2025, Aweber definitely isn't just competing on its legacy reputation anymore. Its new pricing, its feature set, it places it in direct comparison with a broad range of modern platforms. Let's start with Aweber versus GetResponse.
Okay, Aweber versus GetResponse, how do they compare?
In this matchup, GetResponse generally emerges as a significantly stronger competitor, especially for users seeking more advanced features and greater overall value, particularly if you need more than just email.
Why stronger? What are GetResponse's advantages?
Well, primarily, their marketing automation is far more sophisticated than Aweber's workflows. GetResponse offers a truly mature visual workflow builder, comes with over 40 pre-built automation templates, and has a much wider array of sophisticated triggers.
Triggers based on what?
Based on actual user behavior, purchase history, web events, capabilities that Aweber's new workflows simply don't possess natively. It's a deeper level of automation.
So GetResponse offers genuinely more advanced automation. What else makes it potentially a stronger alternative, especially for a business looking for a more comprehensive solution?
Beyond just the automation piece, GetResponse includes a full website builder built in. They have integrated conversion funnel features for building sales funnels, lead magnet funnels, things like that. They even offer webinar hosting.
Wow, so much more of an all-in-one platform.
It really positions itself as a far more comprehensive, all-in-one marketing platform, and perhaps most critically for active senders. All of GetResponse's paid plans come with unlimited email sending.
Unlike Aweber's caps, that's a major advantage.
Huge advantage over Aweber's capped sending limits. Now, Aweber does hold an edge with its native AMP for email support, which GetResponse lacks, and that more accessible phone support. But overall, GetResponse generally offers a more powerful, feature-rich, and scalable solution for marketers with complex automation needs, high sending frequency, or just the desire for a more unified marketing suite.
Okay, clear comparison there. Now let's look at Aweber versus MailChimp. These two are often seen as direct competitors, right? Especially targeting small businesses. How do these two giants compare now after Aweber's 2025 changes?
Yeah, the comparison with MailChimp is definitely more nuanced. It really depends on your specific needs, your list size.
Where does Aweber maybe have an edge?
Well, Aweber's free plan is objectively more generous. It offers 3,000 cents per month compared to MailChimp's tighter 1,000 cents. And Aweber's free plan provides access to more features than MailChimp's highly restrictive free offering, including basic support.
And for paid plans, larger lists. For users with larger lists, specifically over 2,500 subscribers, Aweber's Plus plan is consistently more affordable than MailChimp's comparable standard plan. So cost-wise, Aweber can win out at scale.
Okay, where does MailChimp maybe pull ahead? Automation?
MailChimp's customer journey automation builder, while often gated behind its more expensive plans, is generally considered more sophisticated and powerful than Aweber's workflows. Offers more granular control, a wider array of triggers.
And the big downside they share.
Both platforms, unfortunately, share that significant drawback, charging users for unsubscribed contacts, which, as we know, can inflate costs for businesses with mature lists.
So Aweber's main advantages over MailChimp?
Primarily, its superior and more accessible customer support, especially that phone support, and its more cost-effective pricing, particularly as your list grows larger.
Got it. Finally, let's compare Aweber versus ConvertKit, which has recently rebranded itself as Kit. This feels like a different niche entirely, doesn't it? Very focused on creators.
It is indeed a distinct niche. ConvertKit, or Kit, is specifically positioned as the marketing platform for creators. Think bloggers, authors, podcasters, course sellers, YouTubers, that crowd.
And what makes it different functionally?
Its key strength lies in its subscriber-centric model. It focuses on managing individual subscribers with advanced tagging and segmentation rather than using separate, siloed lists like traditional platforms.
So tag-based from the ground up.
Exactly. This tag-based approach is often considered superior for creating the complex, dynamic sales funnels that are common among digital creators. Allows for highly personalized journeys based on exactly what each subscriber has done or shown interest in.
And their pricing, especially the free plan.
Well, historically maybe a more expensive option, ConvertKit's 2025 free plan is exceptionally generous. It accommodates up to 10,000 subscribers.
10,000 on the free plan.
10,000, making it a highly attractive and scalable alternative for creators who are just starting out but plan to grow significantly. It really removes that initial cost barrier for scaling creators.
So how does Aweber compare in that context?
Aweber's toolset, by contrast, is much more general purpose. Still traditionally list-based, though tags are used. ConvertKit is highly specialized, optimized for the unique workflows and monetization strategies of the creator economy. For a budding creator, ConvertKit's free tier alone could be a game changer compared to Aweber's more limited free offering. Synthesis of user sentiment and final verdict.
Okay, we've delved deep into the features, the pricing, the competitive landscape, but ultimately, what do the users actually say? People on the ground using it day to day. Let's try and get a 360-degree view of user reviews from major platforms like G2, Capterra, Trustpilot. How does Aweber's promise compare to its perceived reality in 2025?
Right. Looking at the user feedback, it can be quite starkly categorized. You can almost group it into three distinct themes: the good, the bad, and what some users have called the downright ugly.
Okay, let's start with the positive. What's the good that users consistently praise?
There's a strong and consistent consensus praising Aweber's foundational strengths. These are often the reasons users choose it or stick around. That 247 customer support, especially the availability of phone support, frequently cited as a standout feature, a primary reason for high satisfaction and loyalty.
Best-in-class support, basically.
Truly. In an industry where good support can be hard to come by, Aweber's dedication here is really top-notch. Also, the platform's high deliverability rates and reliable performance are consistently highlighted as major benefits. You trust your emails will get to the inbox.
Core functions are solid.
Exactly. For basic email marketing tasks, especially for beginners, it's still widely regarded as easy to use, intuitive for sending simple newsletters. And finally, that extensive library of third-party integrations is seen as a significant plus. Lets users connect Aweber to their existing tool stack pretty broadly.
Okay, that's the good stuff. Now what about the bad? What are the recurring complaints or frustrations?
Recurring complaints center heavily on the platform's aging user interface outside of the main email editor and the new workflow builder. Many users describe parts of it as dated or clunky compared to more modern competitors.
And the automation, even with workflows.
Even with the introduction of workflows, the platform's automation capabilities are still widely perceived as basic, lacking the advanced logic, triggers, and comprehensive funnel building of other tools. It just hasn't caught up fully.
Price is obviously a factor now, too.
The high price point, especially after that significant 2025 hike, is a major point of contention. Real frustration for many loyal, long-term users who feel they're paying more for not enough new value. And of course, that policy of charging for unsubscribed contacts is another frequently mentioned financial pain point. It turns list hygiene into a costly chore.
Right, the unsubscribe tax. Okay, now for the ugly. What's the most severe feedback? Where have things really gone wrong for some users?
The most severe and honestly the most visceral negative feedback is directly related to that mandatory transition to workflows.
The forced migration.
Exactly. For long-term, high-volume users who had built complex, deeply nested campaigns, the experience has been described using words like detrimental, causing significant disruption to their established, often mission-critical, automated systems.
Ouch. Detrimental is strong.
It is. It's akin to having your familiar home suddenly rearranged without your input, and finding essential tools have been moved to awkward, hard-to-reach places. This indicates a real potential schism within the user base. Changes intended to modernize have instead alienated some of their most loyal and sophisticated customers, leaving them scrambling to adapt or, well, consider migrating elsewhere.
That's a fascinating and pretty stark categorization of user sentiment. What do the overall numbers tell us? Looking at Aweber's user sentiment scorecard across different review platforms like G2, Capterra, Trustpilot, what's the picture?
It's interesting. Aweber still holds respectable ratings on the professional B2B review sites. On G2, it's got an average of 4.2 out of 5.0. On Capterra, 4.4 out of 5.0.
So still pretty decent on the business-focused sites.
Right. These scores likely reflect its foundational strengths, that rock-solid deliverability, the accessible customer support things highly valued by businesses. However, its Trustpilot score is very low, just 2.5 out of 5.0.
2.5, that's a big difference. Why the disparity?
That low Trustpilot score suggests broader dissatisfaction among a wider, perhaps less strictly business-centric user base. This disparity is likely driven by those recent pricing changes and the workflow disruption impacting a broader spectrum of its users. It really highlights the disconnect between maybe Aweber's intentions with the modernization and the actual real-world impact on its community.
Okay, so bringing it all together now, after weighing all these factors, the features, the price, the competition, the user reviews, what's the final analysis? What's the analyst's verdict on Aweber in 2025?
Aweber in 2025 is unequivocally a platform at a crossroads. It's caught squarely between the simplicity and affordability that defined its past and the complexity and premium pricing it seems to need to compete for the future.
Strengths remain, though.
Absolutely. It continues to excel at the absolute fundamentals of email marketing. Deliverability is rock solid. Customer support is genuinely best in class, providing that 247 human interaction few competitors match. These are not minor advantages. For many businesses, they are mission critical, providing a strong, tangible reason to still consider Aweber.
But the modernization effort, only partial success.
At best, a partial success, and one that came with significant disruption. Introducing AI tools, that new visual automation builder. It added a layer of modern functionality, made it look more current, but it came at a cost.
The cost being?
The workflow system, while visually appealing, more intuitive for basic branching. It fundamentally lacks the deep logical power, the advanced triggers, the integrated CRM functions, the lead scoring capabilities of its top competitors.
Leaving it in that no man's land you mentioned.
Exactly. It's now arguably too complex for users who just crave ultimate simplicity, yet it's still not powerful enough for true automation experts needing sophisticated, behavior-driven campaigns. And this challenging position is further compounded by that pricing strategy, explicitly more expensive plus structurally flawed due to charging for unsubscribed contacts.
So the final takeaway.
Ultimately, Aweber is no longer the simple, budget-friendly option it once was, nor has it successfully transformed into the automation powerhouse its new pricing model perhaps implies. It occupies this precarious middle ground, making the decision to adopt or retain the platform highly dependent on a user's extremely specific priorities and their tolerance for its unique set of trade-offs. Strategic recommendations for business decision-makers.
Okay, so after all this in-depth analysis, the crucial question remains, what should you, our listener, actually do? If you're considering Aweber right now, or maybe if you're an existing customer grappling with these significant changes, let's break it down. Give some tailored advice based on different user profiles.
Right, let's try to provide some actionable recommendations. First, for the solopreneur or new creator who's just starting to build an email list.
What's the verdict for them?
Aweber's free plan is viable for initial list building, especially if that 24/7 human support is your absolute top priority and you anticipate needing help as you learn the ropes. The generous monthly send limit on free is also a plus.
Okay, viable, but there's always a but.
BOT. You must be acutely aware of its severe limitations. You're confined to only one list profile, just 3 automations, only one saved segment. You'll outgrow this very quickly. And there's that steep price jump to the paid tiers once you hit 500 subscribers.
So, recommendation for the new creator.
My recommendation would be to strongly evaluate alternatives, so particularly ConvertKit's free plan. It scales to a much higher subscriber limit, 10,000, offering a far smoother, more cost-effective growth path, specifically tailored for creators, without those strict feature gates right at the start.
Okay, makes sense for creators. What about the established and small business? Maybe they have a decent list, some existing processes.
For the established small business, Aweber's Plus plan can be a solid choice, but only if reliable deliverability, the ability to run basic welcome and nurture sequences, and that 24/7 phone support are your absolute highest priorities. If that support safety net is paramount, its proven infrastructure offers peace of mind.
Okay, only if those are top priorities. When is it not a good fit anymore?
BUT. If you need more sophisticated, behavior-based automation triggers based on website activity, video views, deep e-commerce integration beyond just basic purchase tags, or if you're operating on a tight budget, especially considering that unsubscribe tax, Aweber is likely not the best fit anymore.
So recommendation for small businesses needing more power or better value.
In that case, I'd recommend seriously considering platforms like GetResponse or MailerLite. They often provide superior price to performance, more advanced automation features, and frequently more modern overall user experiences.
Got it. Now, for the advanced marketer or agency, people managing complex funnels, maybe multiple clients, what's the advice here?
For the advanced marketer or agency, my recommendation for 2025 is pretty clear. Aweber is generally not recommended.
Straight up not recommended. Why?
Even with the new workflows, the automation engine fundamentally lacks the advanced conditional logic, the robust native behavioral triggers, the integrated CRM functions, or the lead scoring capabilities required for complex strategies and true marketing automation. You'll simply hit a ceiling very quickly and find yourself building messy, tag-based workarounds.
So where should they look instead?
They should decisively look to dedicated marketing automation platforms. Think ActiveCampaign, HubSpot, or maybe the higher-tier plans of GetResponse. These alternatives are specifically designed to handle the complex workflows, the deep data integration, and the advanced segmentation that this profile demands. Aweber just isn't playing in that league right now.
Okay. Finally, perhaps the toughest group, the existing Aweber customer. Someone who might be feeling the pinch of the price hike or the frustration of the workflows transition. What's the advice for them? This is the most difficult decision, right?
It really is. You need to conduct a clear-eyed, maybe even unsentimental, assessment of your current situation.
When does it make sense to stay?
You should probably say if. You primarily send newsletters, you run fairly simple autoresponders, you haven't been negatively impacted by the practicalities of the workflows transition, and you can comfortably absorb the 2025 price hike into your budget. In that case, the immediate cost and friction of migrating might outweigh the benefits of switching, especially if your current setup isn't actually broken for you. Path of least resistance.
But what if that's not the case? What if your established processes have been disrupted by workflows? Or the price hike makes it financially uncompetitive, especially with that unsubscribe tax piling on? What's the advice then?
Then it's absolutely time to seriously consider migration.
Yeah.
And don't fall victim to the sunk cost fallacy.
Right, that feeling of being tied down because you've already invested so much time and effort.
Exactly. Even if it's no longer serving your current needs or your budget effectively. My recommendation is perform a thorough audit. Calculate your new annual cost, including that unsubscribe tax, for every single contact, even those who've opted out.
Get the true cost.
Get the true cost. Then honestly evaluate whether workflows meets your current and, crucially, your future automation needs. If the value proposition simply no longer holds, begin a structured migration process.
How easy is that? Migrating.
You can leverage Aweber's extensive integrations, maybe with Zapier, to help facilitate data transfer. But be prepared. It takes time and resources to rebuild campaigns, forms, automations on a new service. However, the long-term financial savings and the functional benefits of switching to a more modern, cost-effective, and capable platform may significantly outweigh that short-term friction of the move. Sometimes, breaking up is hard, but it's necessary for future growth. Outro.
So what does this all mean when we put it all together? After this deep dive, what's the big takeaway for our listeners today?
Aweber's story in 2025. It's really a prime example of a legacy company trying desperately, and maybe bravely, to modernize. But perhaps it's coming at the expense of its core identity and potentially its long-term user base.
Strengths remain, but the pivot is tricky.
Exactly. Its strengths are still formidable deliverability. Customer support those are mission critical, and they do them exceptionally well. However, its new pricing and its automation capabilities, particularly with the workflow system, they just don't quite match up to its stated ambitions or its new premium pricing. It leaves Aweber in this challenging middle ground.
Not quite the old, not quite the new.
It's no longer the simple, budget-friendly tool of its past, nor has it fully become the automation powerhouse its new pricing might imply. It's caught in this really challenging strategic tightrope walk.
Well, this deep dive has hopefully given you, our listener, a robust, nuanced understanding of Aweber's current standing, its surprising strengths, yes, but also its critical weaknesses here in June 2025.
Hopefully it helps you navigate your own decisions.
Absolutely. And as you navigate the complex world of email marketing, choosing the platforms that will power your business, here's maybe a provocative thought to leave you with. In an era of constant platform evolution, rapidly integrating AI, ever-expanding feature sets, is the all-in-one solution always the most efficient or cost-effective path?
Interesting question.
Or is there increasing, perhaps even overlooked, value in a highly specialized tool that absolutely excels at its specific niche, even if that means using multiple platforms, maybe stitching them together? Think about your own business needs. What truly matters for your growth? Are you prioritizing a comprehensive suite, one that might be okay at many things, but maybe great at none? Or are you better off seeking out the best in class for specific critical functions? The answer might surprise you.